We're going to get started in a couple minutes. We'll just give everyone some time to hop on. Jay some time to figure out his headset situation. That is a hefty headset too. That is like, you mean business with that on.
This thing is serious. Air traffic controller.
Beats by Jay.
That's right. Yeah. I need better style.
We're expecting 50 attendees today, so no pressure, John.
That's awesome. I'm
Yeah,
glad so many people signed up.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've done one of these, so I take that as everyone missed us terribly.
Back by popular demand.
All right, so it is 10, so I guess we'll go ahead and get started just with some quick housekeeping items in our agenda. So I'm just going to share my screen and pull up our presentation for today. So as you know, the topic today is technology to boost remote and office productivity. So we're going to get into some of our solutions and how it can help your team be more productive and efficient no matter where they're working. So before we get started, you have a couple options there at the bottom of your screen. There's a chat option, a raise hand option, and a Q&A box. So for today, we're actually going to ask you to just leave those questions in the Q&A box, and we'll get to all of them at the end. So just use that Q&A box for any questions. So today's agenda, first we're going to talk about some of the benefits of this new technology and kind of think back to the last 6 months and everything that we've been doing. We're going to talk about our solution, which is Business Unlimited, and some ways you can mix and match that. We're going to talk about how it will help you boost productivity at your business, how you can customize it to meet your needs, and how easy it really is to get that implemented. And then, of course, we'll take your questions and answer those live for you. So today's hosts, we have Jay, who always so graciously helps us here with our technical questions. So if you have any technical questions today, he's your guy. And then we also have John Matthews, who's coming back for round 2 of webinars. I don't know how I managed to get him to do this twice, but he's awesome at it. So happy to have him back. And he's a strategic relationship manager here at Northland. So I'll turn it over to him now, and he can give himself a little intro and get us started.
All right. Thanks a lot, Marissa. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Good morning. We want to make this morning a useful experience for you. We know we've got a wide array of participants this morning, some who are just exploring this technology for the first time, some who've adopted it but maybe want to take it to the next level. And then we've got some folks that have gone pretty deep with it, and we hope and encourage them to partake in the Q&A to help us reinforce the benefits of this technology and what it can mean to your business. As Marissa said, we wanted to kind of kick this morning off just reflecting on where we're at. We're 6 months in to this COVID experience. And as I look at this slide with me and my dog Gus from one of our first work from home meetings, I'm realizing I'm wearing the same shirt, which I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. 6 months in, many of us may relate to that. But here we are. You can tell I'm working from home. We've got Marissa and Jay back in the office, which is good to see. We're starting to see some customers make that move back into their workspaces on a limited basis, of course, which really highlights the fact that working from home for many of us for the past 6 months created a lot of challenges. And we wanted to kick off the morning by taking a quick poll of all of you, asking you, have you needed to work remotely at all through COVID-19? So Marissa, if you can pop that poll up, we'd like to start off with a little interactive exercise here.
So full disclosure, this is the first time we've done a poll on a webinar. So just be patient with us. I'm going to launch it right now. Something's going to pop up on your screen and you're going to be able to select an answer. So here it goes.
We're doing it live.
So we'll give everybody a couple minutes to answer, and look at, I can see you guys answering. This is awesome. And I like that we can be interactive.
Yeah, my expectation, it'll be interesting to see the results. My expectation would be to see a high number of yeses, but yeah, if there's some no's, that'll give us something to talk about.
So Okay, I think we have everybody because I think the remaining people are us three that haven't taken it. So
Okay.
I'm going to end it and then we can share the results so everybody can see. And 92% of you have worked remotely at some point during COVID. So that's pretty astonishing.
Yeah, and my expectation, and maybe this is I hope it's a good assumption, is that maybe that 12% that wasn't working from home, you may be first responders or somebody that's on the front lines dealing with this COVID response. So, thank you for doing that if that applies to you. The benefits of what we're going to talk about today are really relevant, whether it's pandemic or not. I think a lot of us have had this unique experience. This is one of the rare times in my lifetime that it seems like we share this common experience of dealing with to call it a tragedy is one word to use, but it's definitely a challenge. I think the last time that I remember our community really having to work together through something was post 9/11. But and at that time, if you think 19 or 20 years ago, technology was much different then. There was no social media. There was no smartphones. Flip phones were the norm. Maybe you had a pager. So things have changed, and all of the technology that we're talking about today really has worked well for Northland and for many of our customers in terms of just being flexible with being able to work from anywhere, from any connection. So we wanted to have a second poll, understanding that many of you have been working remotely over the past 6 months. We want to know, what's it looking like in Q4? How many of you are going back to the office? And I'll let the poll pop up so you can answer the question. So what percentage of your team will be working remotely this fall? I know from Northland's perspective, we're at a 33% capacity rate. We had our employees basically count off 1 to 3, and every day it's either a number 1, a number 2, or a number 3 day. And if that's your number, you have the option of going into work. I know I've driven through the community and I do see some full parking lots. So, I know some customers and businesses are back at what appears to be 100%.
And what's nice for us is we really do have the option. So if we want to start going back, we can. And the people who don't, they can stay home and, they're just as productive being at home as they are in the office. So another testament to this technology that we're using. All right, so I think we've got everybody who voted, and this one's a pretty even split. So I'll share the results, but there's, we're kind of all over the place with this one. Some of you will be 100% of the time. It's a little confusing, percentages and percentages. So the left-hand side is the percentage of your employees that you foresee working remotely this fall.
Yeah, that's a pretty even spread. That's really interesting.
Awesome. Well, thanks for participating, guys. So I'll go back to our presentation for now. All right.
So for those of you who are looking at this technology for the first time, what is it? What is what we call Business Unlimited? And the easiest way to think of it is that it's a cloud-based communications technology. And the quote-unquote brains of the system reside in Northland's data center. They're cloud-based. And it's a multi-pronged communications tool. And what I mean by that is that it's your traditional phone system. It's obviously a video meeting platform that we're utilizing today. You can instant message. Unified communication is a key component of that. And unified communication, to better understand that, is just think of it as the ability to communicate with the system beyond your desktop. Things such as your mobile app or your mobile phone and your PC become endpoints of the system. And of course, it's hosted and supported by our local team here at Northland. And why should you consider this as an option? Many on this call have made the decision to move to this, and some of those driving considerations were the flexibility and the scalability of the solution. The way it's designed, it does allow you to have a hybrid workforce. You can have folks working in the office, folks working remotely. Mobility is a key component of the platform. Being able to work from anywhere has been a blessing for many of us. I can't imagine having to work the past 6 months with something like just a conference bridge, an audio-only conference bridge. Video adds such a critical component to day-to-day face-to-face conversation, right? One of the big challenges with working remotely is just having a pulse on what's going on. This system and solution does provide you with key insight into not only where people are and what they're doing in terms of are they available or not, but you can dig a little bit deeper into some reporting functionality to check in on a certain department to see how the customer service group is doing today, for example. How many folks are logged in answering calls, how many calls are coming in, how long are your customers waiting for those calls to be answered. You will have visibility into that. So what you might be losing from not being able to look out your office door to the office floor to get that live pulse of what's going on, this system provides you that insight and visibility. Another key thing these days is resiliency. What do we mean by that? So today, if something happens, if a truck hits the pole outside your office and your cable gets cut, typically there's some downtime involved with that. With some of the licensing available through this system, you can immediately switch over to your mobile data plans and stay online seamlessly with zero downtime. So that's a key component. So it's almost inherently built in terms of a disaster recovery solution. Northland has a dedicated team. We have a product line management team that's continuously, Jay's a part of this team, helping enhance and roll out new features. And we've got some spoiler alerts for some of our current customers on some new features coming down the pipeline that should be announced in Q4, which we're really excited about. And I think above all, it's an affordable solution. I've been doing this for a while, and there was a window in my career, maybe 5-7 years ago, where video conferencing was a big buzzword. But to get into video conferencing, it was a really expensive investment. It was tens of thousands of dollars to get the gear and hardware to conduct a call like we're on today. And now it's a $5 incremental license cost to you. So it's a super affordable way to have a video conferencing platform available to your business. We talked a little bit about flexibility and scalability, and we wanted to talk a little bit about how we accomplish that. And it really comes down to some licensing. We've got our basic value license, a standard license, and what we call a premium license. And basically, to describe those, as you go up the chain with those licenses, you gain additional features. So if you have a frontline worker position that is just office-based, they just need a phone on the desk, you would give them a value license typically. If you've got a user that maybe is in the field a bit, needs to be reached while they're out in the field, and you want to have visibility into their availability, you would typically deploy a standard license, which activates that mobile endpoint use experience. And then video becomes available with the premium license. So you can mix and match these licenses for your specific use case. And that's a way to be cost conscious and maximize the functionality for the users who need it.
Oh, sorry, I just opened a different window.
And I think one of the key things that we want folks to understand today is that you don't need to go all in on this. If you've got a system today that you're happy with, that's not hosted, but you're thinking about, or maybe you're having frustrations with your current video platform, we have a video meeting only license that you can layer on top of whatever you're using today. There's no limitations on it. It can scale up to 500 users, comes standard with what you would expect in terms of high definition audio and video, and collaboration is a key part of it. I think many of us can appreciate having been on a lot of video calls over the past 6 months, and many of us have become pretty adept at using some of those collaboration features. And it's been really interesting to see it to really become a part of our day-to-day lives over the past 6 months, more than it ever had been, at least for myself. So, we certainly want you to consider making a switch to this platform, but like I said, you can dip your toes and just try, deploying some of these licenses on a individual basis. So like I said, if you just want to try video, certainly we would be happy to work through that with you to get you online and on board with the video meeting license. And the key thing to also understand is that this doesn't require any one-time upfront costs of any significant nature. It's a subscription-based service, very low to potentially no upfront investment, and it's just a monthly recurring charge on your invoice. We can port numbers from a variety of carriers from wherever you are, and we have a very robust process, and I say robust in a good way, meaning that thorough is probably a better word, that carries you through the entire way. We hold, for the lack of a better way to say it, we hold your hand through the process. We've got a very thorough process, a form that we ask you to work with us on filling out to basically dot our I's, cross our T's to make sure that everything that you need to works the way it needs to once we cut you over. And then, as always, many of you know Northland. You've been customers of ours for a long time. You know that we're here to support and offer training as needed. We're not going to abandon you with this. One of the big upsides of this product is that it can be very self-service, meaning you can really manage a lot of the system on your own. But we are always here to support you and make sure that it's working the way that you want.
Awesome. So we actually have one more poll before we get into the Q&A. And I think, John, you did an awesome job at just explaining kind of what these tools are, very high level. But I will say the absolute best way to really get a feel for what these tools can do for you is to get a demo and to really see it up close and personal, because there's so much to it. And, we'll get into the Q&A shortly, so drop your questions in that box below. But our favorite part of this is answering your questions and really digging into, how it can benefit your business specifically. So in a private demo is really a great way to do that. So I'm going to put up one last poll here. And if you're interested in getting a demo, we will follow up with everyone. So if you're interested in getting a demo, please answer this poll that I'm going to put up next. We were actually just talking with our inside sales team this morning, who was doing a ton of demos from the early days of COVID when we were offering some free licenses for a period. We really want to get back to that because it is the best way to show everyone these tools up close and personal.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to make sure I mentioned, one of the objectives today was to talk about increased productivity and how these tools can maximize productivity. I was looking at my own activity in terms of a sales role here at Northland, and I've been busier than ever over the past 6 months, and I attribute that to the ability that I have now of being able to have more appointments per week without having to drive to them. I certainly miss that face-to-face experience, and I know a lot of people do, but given with we're at where we're at, to know that for every appointment I set, I basically save an hour because I don't have to drive to and from it. So I was looking at my calendar a year ago from the same month a year ago to this past month, and last year it was like 5 to 7 appointments a week. This year it was 7 to 12 appointments a week. So just by leveraging the remote technology, I've been able to add more appointments to my calendar, which at the end of the day drives revenue. So that was kind of just an interesting little anecdotal stat I wanted to share.
cool.
So poll results.
So the results of the poll, it was about a 50-50 split. So we had 49% of you said you wanted a demo, 51% no, and that might be because, you know, some of you are already using the platform, which is great, and we love seeing customers jump on to really learn the ins and outs of it and make sure that they're utilizing it to its fullest potential. So now we're going to jump into questions. So go ahead and drop your questions in the Q&A box if you have them. We actually have one already. Christopher is asking, who should I ask for that reporting? And I believe he's talking about call reporting and what John was talking about as far as call volume and seeing what your team is working on and things like that. So does somebody want to just briefly talk about call reporting and how that can be accessed?
Yeah, that's actually, I'm glad you asked that question, because one thing that I did want to touch on is that those of you who are already on this platform who may not be aware that reporting is available, that's one of the recent additions to the product line that is included at no additional cost. So we would certainly be happy to work with you to show you how to access those reports. And Jay, you may have some better guidance that I just gave.
I'll email it out.
Yeah, so if you are an existing customer, I think that was Chris Colebrook who asked that question, and I'm not familiar with the name, so I'm not sure, but if you are already on the Business Unlimited platform, for our customers, can call actually 315-671-6262, which is our helpline, and those folks there would be more than happy to help you out. It is included in every system. There's no additional cost there, so if you weren't looking for it and you've been in the admin portal, maybe you just kind of glazed over it. But that did become available sometime in the spring, I think, early summertime. And that's one of the nice things about this platform is as we're adding new feature sets, you just get it. We communicate that with everybody. We send out all of our communication. Maybe it got missed though, and that stuff is all in there. So give us a call. Marissa will probably share some inside sales demo information here, and you can also reach out to those folks and they'd be able to help you out as well.
I will. So just for everybody's reference, we are recording this today, so you can go back and reference it. We'll share the recording with everyone who's here. And with that email, we can also include a link to schedule a demo. So all that will be displayed in the email when you get it later today. Sorry, John, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of recording, I mentioned the spoiler alert earlier in the webinar. We will be rolling out a call recording feature for this platform in Q4, which will enhance the reporting that we just talked about. So you will not only have historical reporting available, there's real-time reporting available. So if you do have a call center group that you want real-time insight on, we do have that capability today. But then in the future, Q4, by the end of the year, before the end of the year, we will have a call recording feature as well that will not only show you every call record that you have within the system, but it will have a recording potentially for every one of those call records. And it's more than just audio recording. It's a really exciting product for us because just imagine that you've got a customer-facing representative talking to a customer, and something happened on that call, good, bad, or whatever, but you need to understand what happened on that call. You could log in, retrieve that call record, and listen to it, but you could not only listen to it, you could actually watch what that person was doing on their screen throughout that call. So as a training tool, it can be pretty compelling to be able to help anyone who is customer facing or even internally to maybe use a system a little bit better, maybe have them answer a question a little bit more efficiently the next time around. So it's a really, we're really excited about where this product is headed, and stay tuned.
And that'll actually should be available end of Q3. So once Q4 starts, it'll be available, and then Q4 we will be working on full-blown call center software. So we've already got the basic, as John just mentioned, our IACD offering. We'll cover any kind of live reporting, live monitoring, call barging that you can, that you're looking for, but there will be a full-blown call center by the end of the year. Hopefully by the end of the year, maybe just beginning of the new year.
All right.
And I believe we still are offering IECD free for 60 days. So I can also include that information in the recap email if anyone is interested in trying that out. So we do have a couple more questions in the Q&A box that I wanted to hit on. Michelle asked, do you have a BAA for the video feature to make it HIPAA compliant? So this is a question that we actually get a lot, and I'm going to let John answer it.
Yeah, we do get this question a lot, and I think the short answer is no. However, we do recognize that this is a very common request in those verticals that require HIPAA compliance. So we certainly, I wish I had a better answer than that, but we are devoting resources to develop this into a HIPAA compliant platform. We don't have a finite roadmap for it at this point, but we do understand the importance of that being a requirement for various use cases, and we are working to that end. Jay, you might have some more information related to that from where you sit on the development side.
Yeah, it's kind of, the whole HIPAA conversation is very gray. Doesn't matter who you talk to, but it's more so than just being compliant. There's, just this ideology behind it of everybody has a piece to make our software HIPAA compliant, not only Northland employees, as well as the customer and kind of everybody in between needs to kind of follow certain guidelines. So the meetings are fully encrypted. The audio on our Max UC products is all fully encrypted, the registration pieces of that. So everything is encrypted. We're really just trying to identify specifics at this point. We like John said, we have a couple of people who are working on it. We've got some consultants involved, or a consultant. We're working through it, and I'm hoping, because this question comes up often, that in the very near future we have a clear-cut answer. But we do have a statement on it available that anybody here should be able to share with anybody who needs that.
If you look in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, you can see the little green lock icon, just demonstrating that the service is encrypted. But HIPAA is much more than encryption, as Jay just indicated.
So the last question we have today is there a library of other training resources available for users? Which I think that's a great question, because we love talking about all the training offerings that we have. In addition to being able to request private demos and trainings, our customers also have access to a full library of training resources, videos, and when we have new feature updates, we also have email updates that go out, so you can sign up for those. So the link that I provided, I will also put in the recap email for today, and all your training resources are there, which is a great benefit to customers, I think. So if we don't have any other questions, I'm going to wrap up for today. Like I said, we'll be sending out a recap later this afternoon. So thank you everyone so much for joining us, and we hope to see you at the next one.
Thanks everybody.